So then the conditioner I'm going to use is called Long Hair Don't Care.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm literally just going to use the size of a quarter. I'm not going to OD on it.
Okay.
And I'm going to get you a mirror.
Okay.
And I just put that in the bottom. So, okay, as we all know, detangling should start from the bottom and then go up.
Yes.
Okay? But we can only take care of so much hair that our hands can fill. Like our hair, we can only take care of so much that our hands can be filled with. So once you put the conditioner on the bottom, you want to start evenly distributing that all around the rest of the head by pulling down with gravity. Okay?
That is typically what I do.
Yes. Now, if you get to a point where you're like, what the frig, you know, my hair is super tangling, then instead of addressing it, just let the conditioner sit there and do this type of motion.
Okay.
Just move down the hair, and it's like you're pressing the conditioner in. And then you should be able to glide a little bit easier.
And am I upright or flipped?
You are, you can be whatever way you want to be.
Okay.
There is no rule because I'm rinsing this all out. It's
Yeah.
whatever makes your life easier with detangling. Okay, I find that I go side to side. That makes my life easier. Yep. And when it's all the way in the back, I feel like I'm really tilted, like a tea spout. What is it? I'm a little what is it? Tea kettle?
Spout, yeah.
Tea spout.
Yeah,
there you go.
Teapot.
Teapot.
The spout on the tea. Wow.
There you go. I don't even know the riddle. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is my spout.
That's how I work with children.
Okay.
I usually, I go side to side, but I will do a complete upside down flip just because I stick to my head a lot.
Right.
And I since I started doing that and just making sure I was loose at the roots,
right,
my volume has been so much better.
Yes. Now I'm going to show you a different way to get more volume.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, you're consistent with absorbing water. You know, so that's great. So your hair is in great shape because you can absorb. Awesome. You know, so yippee. You know, and your surface texture, you're smooth. You don't have ripples. Your color, it's given you issues before because at the end of the day, your cuticle is going to be a little bit more open in this color, but your hair is not damaged. It's actually really pretty when it's wet.
Know,
it's like this beige sherbet.
I liked it. I was like, man, I wish that wasn't the culprit, but it does look really cool.
It's really cool like that. Okay, so now that we've done the conditioning, now I'm gonna work with actually a really light leave-in cream. So some Sweet Spirit. So this is a really great product for my fine textured, medium density, wavy to ringlet curls. Okay, so I'm just gonna spritz this in. And it's actually pretty concentrated, so you could actually water this spray down.
Okay. You
can make it as thin as you want, and that's something that I recommend. If you're like, hey, this cream is actually really too thick with me, well, what happens when you water it down, when you put it in a spray bottle? You know, and you change the viscosity of it, you change its strength and its weight by just adding water. Water is always the catalyst to transformation.
And it's funny because before I thought it was the enemy.
Right. I know. I mean, the myth of the more you wet your hair, the more it dries out. I'm like, wait, so the more I drink water, the more dehydrated I'm going to get?
I was lied to my whole life.
I was lied to. Okay, so I like to section. So I sectioned your canopy out.
Okay.
Okay, because your canopy is where you want your volume. Okay, so your bottom, I'm gonna use a product to give you some hold.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go in and I'm gonna use the Trepadora papaya slip.
Okay.
Okay, and it looks more like a custard. And guys, later, I don't know when, but eventually I'm gonna post a YouTube video of doing this because there's not a lot of videos on medium density, fine texture hair. I feel like a lot of people are talking about like really thick hair or low porosity. I'm just gonna keep it super simple. You just take enough hair that your hands can handle, then you're meeting the hair where it's at. And because of that, you're not over directing the hair into a flatter state, it's just going to come right out from the root. Now, I am smoothing and I am technically taking the curl out in this moment, but in order to close that cuticle, to get that shine and to get some, you know, really chunky definition, we have to separate the hair into subsections. Okay? So I'm okay that the subsection is, you know, it's like almost an inch thick. Okay. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it's going to separate and it's going to create smaller subsections.
And that's when I get stringy.
And that's when you get stringy looking. So you might as well start off a little bit on the thicker side.
Yeah.
A little curvy side.
I get stringy if I like try to rake things too much.
Right. So I'm being slow and I'm being conscious. I'm being conscious of my speed and I'm being conscious of how much hair is in my hand. That's what sets you and I apart, is that I have to be conscious with you because I have to teach you. I'm in the moment with you. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when you're at home, you're in autopilot. You're in default. You know, when you're in the shower, you're thinking about work, you're thinking about yesterday, you're thinking about tomorrow. And then your hair's attention sometimes only happens after something has gone wrong. So we catch ourselves in a very frustrated state, mm-hmm. or we're trying to manipulate, or we overanalyze. We overthink the shit out of things. Yeah. So just move slow, stay in the moment, and that's your meditation. And when you say, I don't have time to meditate, guess what? You just did. So now this is your canopy.
Mm-hmm. See how it's dry already up here?
That's okay.
That's
okay. Yep. That's just your hair doing its own little thing.
Cool.
Okay? So in order to... And you remember too, instead of looking at it as frizz, your hair is all different lengths. You have new hair growing in, and because of that, it's going to show in different parts of the top.
Yeah.
Okay? So I am going to add a sprinkle of water.
Okay.
You're going to hear it's literally a 1-2, and then it's off.
Okay.
In the shower, you can either splash yourself or just do a little boop boop.
Yeah.
And
dip under.
Yeah, and sometimes the pressure is really stronger. Where this, you know, I can control the sprinkle. So if you have a shower that you can control the drizzle, mm-hmm. you know, if you have a leaky faucet, awesome. This is where you're going to be really happy that a plumber didn't make its way last week to your, you know, apartment and fix your plumbing. Okay, so, and the higher up I get on the head, the less product I use.
Yeah. Because
you have less hair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very fine on the top.
It's fine, but
not
also,
fine,
like it's less density.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Because now you're working with a smaller portion of the head. Mm-hmm. Okay, the area below the canopy has the most hair because it's the widest part of the head. Okay.
And that's where I get poofy.
And that's where you get poofy. But also too, when you're styling, I know what you're doing. You're pulling your hair down with gravity. I'm meeting the section where it's at.
Okay.
Okay? So you're okay, this is a great example, and guys on Instagram, you might really relate to this. You know when you get your hair blown out and you see that the hairdresser is like, has the brush right at that section and she's higher up on the head and her elbows are lifting higher and everything is lifting up and up and up? It's because she's creating volume. Taking the section from the head, from the form of the head. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes we have to just stop over analyzing it a little bit. Like, just feel the shape of your head right now. Put whatever you're doing down and just feel the shape of your head and just look in the mirror and notice that your hands are higher up on your head when you're touching the crown. All right, so now when I get to the top, I'm actually going to consciously feel my hands, and I'm going to feel that my hands don't feel raw, mm-hmm. right? There's still some product on there, so I'm going to first take care of that top section with what's left on my hand. Okay. Sometimes we're just adding so much product at the top when we don't need as much. Now, you need water because you're not as wet. So I'm going to do a little sprinkle.
Okay.
Little teapot action. and then I'm going to continue to work some of that product back in there. So I'll actually take my palm and put that product from my palm onto the hair.
Got it.
And I feel like this is enough product on the front.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, guess what? I can fix that later.
Mm-hmm.
This is now what I'm gonna do. I'm now gonna take smaller subsections. I'm now gonna twist you twice.
Okay.
Okay? When you do twirling, it's a technique that gives you individuality and structure around the face. Okay? And that is really, 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 really useful.
Doesn't matter which I go with the curl, right?
Yeah, you go with the curl, and sometimes if you don't know which way the curl goes, start going clockwise first.
Okay.
Bringing all the curls in the same direction, and if one curl kicks out and acts like a rebel, then you know.
Okay.
Okay? So basically, I'm seeing clumping and lots of wetness, right? So then when I go in and I squeeze, I pump, 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 and then I get a curl. Now, I can tell right away that the papaya slip's not gonna give you much of a cast. So I'm gonna use a little bit of gel, which I would recommend because you already have the Diva Curl gel.
Yes.
Just place that right on top.
Okay.
So you need two holds.
I thought so.
Yeah, you know, because it's like your hair just keeps sucking everything in.
Does the frizz-free foam count as one of those?
You can actually
'Cause I have that too.
you can use the frizz-free foam first, like I did the papaya,
Okay.
and then put the gel on top. Yes, absolutely.
That is usually my route.
Yep.
I have found a path.
So now we see much more of a cast already.
Yeah.
Okay. Now a cast means something that's already started drying. You can have a wet cast too. When the hair is holding itself in place and it has a structure and you can tell that there's product on it, but it's still soaking wet, that's a wet cast because it's gonna turn into, you know, a dry cast. I hope this video is helpful. I hope you guys also know that you can get creative and try what works for you when you're standing in the shower, tilting side to side, or when, you know, you wanna flip upside down. Find what works for you, make it your signature. But these tips, you know, are really for somebody who is struggling with flyaways on the top, straight roots so you don't get much volume, and can't really hold the curl throughout the day because you got a busy job, you got a really, you know, hectic schedule, and you just want to have good hair days, guys. So there you go. Thank you, Courtney.
You're welcome.